Monday, October 20th. I hope you had a good weekend. We started out at 45 degrees here in Atlanta. So it's been a cold morning. Got a lot to cover this morning. Going to go over, first off, by the way, no show tomorrow. I will explain why in about 2 minutes. Global investing, seeking alpha highlights international markets. Alpha picks dominates. Again, we're going to go over. I'm going to give you about 3 or 4 of them. So we'll go over them, where they are on the charts, all of the alpha pick stuff, smart ads and cuts using TrendSpider. We'll look at that. AI market, bubble or boom. And some community picks with some stocks. That's the kind of what Perplexity told me. I don't know. I'm reading Perplexity instead of my freaking notes. I should probably read my notes. But QQQ, we can look at the chart here. 4-hour algorithm got you out last week, 15th. We're at the 20th now. Got you out with a nice little 4% gain. Right there, you can see 4%. Doesn't quite beat buy and hold you see down here, but I use this as a guide. Are we in a bull market? Are we in a bear market? You can see, I mean, we'll go over this one in a little bit, but it's not, market may feel bad, but again, we'll go over the charts. Whatever you're feeling, look at the facts, not the actual feelings. And that's going to be the point of a lot of this stuff is look at the facts and not the feelings. And in order to find out the facts, you have to have some tools. Well, there won't be a show tomorrow. Why? I'm going on an Amazon warehouse tour. And you may see some of these in the city that you live in. I don't know. I've been getting ads for them on Instagram, and I decided to take them up on it. And it's at 9 a.m. tomorrow, so I won't be doing the podcast. This is everything that Amazon owns. Want to know why it's a top 5 holding of mine? This is everything that they own. Is it expensive? I mean, let's take a look at the stock. This is how you look at a stock. First off, I want to look at the chart because are we in a bullish area for Amazon or a bearish area? Well, you're seeing I just took the previous all-time highs in July of 2021. And I just put a line across there because even if you go back here to August of 2020, that's at 188. We're trading at 213. That is 5 years. 5 years of holding this one and adding it and trimming it and doing things. Am I beating the market with this one? Hell no, I'm not beating the market. Remember, you're almost up 100% in QQQ during this time, 5 years. So this is not a stock that is blowing things out of the water on this weekly chart. And you're seeing the downturn a little bit. The MACD turning down. The RSI is 46. Meanwhile, the company owns everything. And we had an outage this morning on Amazon, shuts down the world. You want to own a stock that can shut down the world. If your kids were bitching they couldn't get on Snapchat this morning at 5 a.m. to send those deleting messages that you can't watch, that's because AWS had an outage. Again, I own this one in a large way. I've owned it for a very long time. And that's the bull market you want to see. What we're seeing right now is not a bull market. But I'm going to go see some robots tomorrow. And I want to see it. So it's just the way I'm going to do things. So there won't be a show tomorrow. I will be on Spaces tomorrow afternoon with Wolf after a hiatus. With Austin Hankwitz, making fun of some folks there. So if you want, tune into that. Set an alert here on Twitter. Some folks asked me, what authors do you follow on Seeking Alpha? Your homepage, you can set it up for however you want. And when you get an author, you can hit there and say, okay, what do I follow? Well, here's the follow list. This is what I love. I mean, honestly, and I put it out here on Twitter. If I'll give you a screenshot of what I have, but these are the people that I follow. And what do I get when I tune in on Monday? Well, I get authors like Steve Kress identifying other countries to invest in. Here's the best international ETF, the top 5 countries that will outperform the US. What else do I get? I get an Investing Experts podcast about everything in this market overcoming and still going up. There are negative catalysts in this market and we're still going up. Well, here's an Investment Experts podcast about why that's happening. And earnings are coming up this week. I get the top 4 consumer stocks that I can invest in from Steve Kress. And one of the keys, this undercover dozen, I love this stuff. It covers nanonuclear energy, Zeta, and others. Again, hot topics, the undercover doesn't. This is where I found some of the ones that you guys hear about that are like, oh my God, it's soaring. Well, Zeta is one of the ones that is out there on the retail world, and they're touting this one as a comeback. Is it a comeback? Well, Undercover does the analysis. So I like that. Now, if you want to try out Seeking Alpha, you got a couple of different options here on Linktree. Okay, the first one is the bundle, and the bundle comes with $159 savings. You get both premium and alpha picks. Okay, but if you don't want the alpha picks portfolio, you can get just premium. Free 7-day trial. Again, find people that you like. Now, I want to go over some of the alpha pick stuff because you can get alpha picks as well by itself. Again, Linktree has everything. Go over there. But let's just go over my top performers in my portfolio last week that were all alpha picks. First one, CLS. This one, not only is it an alpha pick, but here back in January, this was one of the top 2025 picks that Steve Kress pointed out. And let's see, where was it trading in January? It was at $99. Where are you trading today? $283. Yeah, January, $99 entry. Yes, you had to live through that April downturn down to 77, and I did. But if you have just bought the bottom there, even the bottom, you're up 276%. This one was up 14% last week. Now, I'll also point out that we had an alpha pick last week because you get one on the 1st and one on the 15th. It's very simple, and they tell you when to sell. And typically lately, I've been buying a lot of the picks that they've had. It's called alpha pick scalping. And we haven't been able to scalp because most of these have been larger market caps. So the one that I bought last week, up 11%. Everybody should be holding this one. It is the top large cap stock in the quant. Again, most people should be holding this. It's an AI stock. Most people should be holding it. You're up 11%. I'm up 11% on that buy, probably somewhere around there. Another one that's up, and I'm going to give you the symbol right here, POWL. This is POWL Industrial. Okay. Say you just bought this one. Let's see. Getting back to the top, we're going to see it is 12% from the top. I'm going to remove this one now that I can see that. But again, 4-hour algorithm had you in here at 244. You're trading at $330. Again, 4-hour algorithm doesn't time things perfectly, but you can see it down here. 4-hour algorithm makes you 297% versus 271% if you buy and hold. Again, I'm mixing tools. Alpha Picks gives me the stock. I then go to TrendSpider and see how it performs. And I can use TrendSpider to outperform the Alpha Picks portfolio, which is incredible because since its launch, it's up 240% versus the S&P up 74%. So again, you can use it in here to outperform that 200% portfolio. Now, another one. They had earnings last week. 4-hour algorithm got you in at 85. Where are you trading right now? You're trading at a discount, 83. This one was up 7%. So if you had it as part of the Alpha Picks portfolio, and I added this way back in April when it was down here at 60 and it bounced off that, old resistance turns to new support, and it did. I got in there big at 63. So I'm sitting there holding. I'm perfectly happy. The key to add these winners when they are on their way up and to cut them when they're back. That's how you use TrendSpider along with the other tools. So again, everything's on here on Linktree. You can get your access to TrendSpider. You can get the 4-hour algorithm. Sign up for any annual plan, 2-week trial, go and try it out. Okay, learn on a free charting tool. Don't get TrendSpider if you don't know charts. And I'll give you here's the hack. Don't pay for a course on technical training. Yes, on my newsletter, I have an education section and I have a paid section. You can pay for that. Pay me to support the podcast, not to get the education, because the reality of this is you can pull up a free charting program Upload it to Perplexity and say, tell me what I don't know about this. Start the conversation, continue the conversation, create your own technical trading course. There are plenty of free courses out there. Investopedia has a free one. You can go on YouTube and learn it. Don't pay TrendSpider to learn technical trading. Learn it and then get TrendSpider because it takes you from one level to the next. Okay? Now I want to go over QQQ. Because what was last week? Was last week a big sign that we're going to pull back? Well, let's take a look at it in a chart form. Because if you just look at last week in a chart form, and we pull this back, okay, October 14th, 13th, let's go back. This is, let's see, I think it was October 13th was Monday, if I'm right. Let's see, that's Friday. And then Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, that's Monday. So there's Monday the 13th. I mean, what does this chart tell you? Does it just look like lines on the screen? Because in my mind, again, I know technical trading. I'm not an expert in this stuff, but this chart tells me a lot. What does it tell me? It tells me that the dips are getting bought on a 5-minute chart. Whether it's the light shaded area, which is after hours, whether it's during this time, again, the dips are being bought. That's what it tells me. And where are we today? Well, if you bought in the after hours on Thursday, way down here, 591, under $600, you're up. Again, QQQ looks like it's a buy the dip. And you can use some of these other indicators to find out when you should buy. The MACD was way down here at 415 on October 17th. The MACD was one move under the oscillator right there on the MACD. The RSI went all the way down to 17, overbought. If you're day trading this, boom, buy it. Buy it. Again, this one, the MACD gets back down to the oscillator. The RSI gets under the 50 at 40. Buy it. It's a buy the dip market. And if you look at a monthly chart of QQQ, and I'm just going over, this is what you should be doing. The monthly chart of QQQ, okay? Ironically, we have a green candle. Yes, October feels like it's been horrible. But we're up 1.13%. Let me reiterate that, okay? April, you were up 1.76%. That was when we were down. The last negative month that we had was March, down 8%. Get ready, because the more you go up, the harder the fall is going to be. It can't continue like this. Earnings will probably push it, but you need a little pullback. And when you see all these green candles, you see a red candle, and then it gets to a big candle, like in 2018 during Trump's first tariff war. So look at history, understand what these tell you, because these aren't opinions. These are facts. And I wrote on Friday that I was looking to buy DPST. Okay, if you go to here it is, and here on this, I just gave a little update. A Friday summary update. I'm taking the day off, working on some graphics, doing some stuff. Regional bank mess. You heard about it last week. There was an absolute mess in the regional banks. And I wanted to buy DPST. What is DPST? It is a triple leveraged ETF on the regional banks. I want to buy the dip. So I set an alert in TrendSpider. Hey, tell me when this is a buy in the 4-hour algorithm. Now, does it beat buy and hold? You bet. Over the last 2 years, it makes 160. This is a triple leveraged ETF. You should not be holding. It should not beat buy and hold. This is a decaying asset, and yet DPST has beaten buy and hold. It wins 43% of the time. So I found a strategy, and I said, I want to do that. Now, if you don't have TrendSpider and you don't have the 4-hour algorithm, you absolutely should not be doing that unless you have a proven back-tested strategy on a technical level for a triple leveraged ETF. But here, Seeking Alpha, they're going to give you fundamentals. Fundamentals of the top 10 quant-rated regional banks as credit concerns rock the industry. Jamie Dimon and others said, hey, when you find a cockroach, like some of the regional banks that pulled their guidance last week, when you find a cockroach, there's not just one, there's many. So what does Seeking Alpha do for you? They gave you the top 10 quant-rated stocks in regional banks. And here you go. Where are we on the fear and greed index? To quote Charlie Munger, or I think it's Warren Buffett, buy when other people's are fearful and be fearful when other people are greedy. I think that's the quote. But again, we're in extreme fear. I think today it pushed up a little towards fear. It will get to greedy. At some point, it will get to greedy. And so you're going to want to be able to take it. You know, we're at 2% away from all-time highs. My guess is that retail is buying that dip. Big money doesn't want to miss it again, so they're going to buy the dip as well. Remember what happened in April? And if you weren't around in April, here's what happened. Retail bought the dip. Retail bought everything. Some of the big guys on Wall Street and the big money, they were saying, yeah, Trump is going to continue on this. And then Trump tells you to buy stock. Well, the big guys didn't buy stock because they're not on Twitter. They're not on Truth Social. Retail did. And all of a sudden, the big money, the hedge funds, got behind and retail was actually winning. So you want to have a watch list. Again, a hidden skill is finding a watch list of stocks that you want to buy the dip on. Okay, IREN, great example. I didn't buy the dip on IREN. Want to know why? Because I'm still not out of IREN. I trimmed and I took my I'm playing with house money right now. This one is up. Let's see. We're going to push this one. It's down, but it's still up 241%. It was up 313% at its top, and we've come down. But am I buying the dip on this one? Not right now. I will buy the dip. But I will look to finish this trade first, and it won't be pulling out because I believe in this one long term. And if you look at this weekly, again, where's the support? It's at $27 because there hasn't been a pullback at all on this one on a weekly. So this one might be a little bit extended, but I am going to protect my profits by making sure I have a strategy. And that's the key. And again, when you're in extreme fear, you want to have a watch list. So there's a difference between buying IREN during a pullback, like you see on the 4 hour, and buying the pullback on a weekly. And for me, this has been a long-term thesis on this one. So I'm okay buying on a weekly, buying and selling on a weekly. But have your watch list available. Now, I want to bring this one up. Let me see. I think I closed this one by accident. No, that's the Dutch investors. It's an AI market. And I want to bring this one up because this is data center revenue from Taiwan Semi. And I thought this was a great chart because Taiwan Semi, remember, Taiwan Semi actually makes the chips. Okay, they ASML and others create the actual equipment that Taiwan Semi actually makes the chips with. But Taiwan Semi is the one that's making all of these chips, whether it's Apple, whether it's Nvidia, whether it's AMD. They are the ones making these chips. And I thought it was interesting that back in 2017, smartphone chips accounted for 57%. Again, that was during the bulk, the smartphone boom around the world, 2017. Today, we're in an AI market. 57% of Taiwan Semi is not from smartphones. It's from data center chips. There will be a time, and like you're seeing with the smartphone kind of relapse, where we're not seeing Apple push up. We're not seeing Google, Android phones and Samsung. We're not seeing those explode. There will be a time when data centers, too, won't explode. But right now, Taiwan Semi is one. And I will tell you, if Apple starts bringing Apple Intelligence to the iPhone, it's going to even push higher. Apple rises among Wall Street praise strong iPhone 17 sales. Now you take that and you go over to TrendSpider and you say, okay, Gary's got a lot of Apple, but he just buys and holds. Yeah, that's all I do. You're at 256. Until you can get over 260, that is resistance. So buying and selling between 240 and 260, smart in my opinion. As it's on its way down, you start buying. As it's on its way up, 260 is your current. So is the risk of buying at 256 and the reward of getting 260 worth it? Not for me. Until it gets over that previous all-time high and proves that that's now support, I don't want to add to this position. Am I trimming this position? If I sold this position, I would be selling shares that I bought back in 2006 at an average cost of $2. So find stocks like this, and these will be able, we went over Amazon in the beginning. Is that one a great one? Yes, it's a great stock, but it's sitting there right now. And if you look at a monthly chart of this one, and we look, Amazon really just isn't moving all that much. It just isn't. So what are the ones that are these bound to be bubbles? Well, Robinhood, and yeah, I'm pulling up a Robinhood account article here. A practical guide for bubble watchers. It's the AI boom, and they go over bubble watch, valuations, who's financing the boom, hot IPOs. And one of the things that I took away from this is the difference between now and 2000 is this bubble is actually funded. And you can hear a lot of people say, well, it's funded by circular money. OpenAI is giving this money to NVIDIA and they're buying it, and then NVIDIA is putting it back into OpenAI. It's not really circular money because the mega caps like Apple, well, Apple's not really spending, Amazon, the mega caps like Microsoft, they are actually spending money that they earn on these AI chips. So it's actual money. And Dan Niles goes over it perfectly right here, okay? This is a great tweet to read because he says, hey, is this pullback, the pullback, the end of the bubble? No. He still thinks we're in 1996, 1997. And remember, it didn't start pulling back until 2000. So you don't want to be out of this until the actual bubble starts to burst. And will you get a 20% pullback on a day? No. Because we just passed Black Monday, and I think in 1987, yesterday was the anniversary of Black Monday, where the actual market pulled back 25% in a day. You've got some stops in the market. If it starts to pull back that much, the market actually closes if it pulls back that much. And that was the reason, because it crashed. And Dan points out the NASDAQ rose 40% in 1998, then accelerated to 86% in 1999, and accelerated even further to a 24% gain in just over 2 months to start 2000. It was an inflated bubble, but it wasn't earnings related. This was just hype. So I like those two articles together are great. Now, are you ready for what could happen in the month of October? Because if Trump actually signs a deal, if the Xi meeting gets off, and we've seen this to play out before, if you journal, and I do journal, and I looked at that, and the last 2 times these efforts have met, we've seen a bump. We have seen a bump. Get a watch list ready. Again, what do you want in your watch list? Maybe it's yin and yang, because maybe the China market is going to go up even more. Let's see. YINN, I think is, yeah, there you go. YINN. This is the bull 3-time share. Just had an entry in the 4-hour algorithm. And I'll give you 4-hour entry algorithms, entries in the newsletter today. I just did it. And yin is one of them. Do you want to use the 4-hour algorithm on this one? Like I said, I'm shocked that a triple leveraged ETF, DPST, this one also beats buy and hold. You can see it on your screen, 114% versus 61%. This is a decaying asset. And you can see how good this one is to actually make 114%. You just need a couple of pumps. Again, play the averages. And Oracle, I had said this, hey, get Oracle under $300. I've said get Oracle under $300. It was a good one. Want to know why? This one pumped. I mean, let's look at the chart on this one. Because the chart on this one pumped all the way up to $321. Okay, I'm sorry, $322. $322 just last week. And it's going to pump. It's going to cover this gap down. But as you enter this gap and you get down here under $300, I still think that this is a good stock to buy. I don't own, full disclosure, I don't own this one. I have loved this one since it was in the 60s, and I missed out on it. The quant says it's a hold. Has it been a strong buy? No, it's been a hold for at least a year. And the valuation has gotten a little bit worse as it's gotten more expensive, but the growth has improved. And the revisions, everybody's bringing it up. Now, Wall Street, there are 43 analysts that look at this. They have it as a $345 price target. So again, as we're in an AI market, I think this one is as good as Taiwan Semi. And big analysts. Well, let's talk about AMD. Because AMD, where do you buy it? Well, let's quote Charlie Munger. If all you ever did was buy high quality stocks on the 200-week moving average, you would beat the S&P by a large margin over time. The problem is few human beings have that kind of discipline. You don't need TrendSpider for this. Pull up a weekly chart in any of your favorite charting programs and buy this one under the 200-day. And did I buy it under the 200? Hell no, I didn't buy it under the 200. Let's look when I bought it. Because I put in here, I bought it on the 4-hour algorithm right there in September. Okay, I'm up 52%, 53%. Now, where's that 237? Let's see where that 237 is. That 227 is from March 2024. That's the high from last year where it pushed up and then it pulled back. And if you pull up this weekly, see that red line? That red line is the 200-week moving average. It's on a weekly chart. Just put in a 200 SMA. And if you don't know how to do that, go and ask AI how to do it on your favorite platform. It will guide you how to do that. By the way, the 4-hour algorithm beats buy and hold over the last 2 years. You can see it right here, 124% versus 112. That's why I bought when I did. I said, you know what? It's sitting there around 160. I'm going to buy it. So again, you just have to find the stocks that you like and then find out where to buy it. Find a strategy that works. Now here's 40 stocks. You want a watch list? Here's 40 stocks to lead in AI. And if you don't have Seeking Alpha and you want access to this, go and ask AI. What is Coates' fantastic 40 stocks? Maybe it gives it to you. Again, this isn't, this is just Seeking Alpha reporting on this. And these are good stocks. Go and find a fundamental program that will rank them for you and go and do your research. Get a watch list together. And I brought this one up, CLS. This was one of the big winners. It is an alpha pick. It is a top 2025 holding. It is also still a strong buy in the quant. Goldman Sachs and the big guys are finally waking up to this one. We view Celestica as a winner amongst growing AI data center build deployments due to their competitive advantage against other ODMs and EM. I have no idea what that means. All I know, Steve Kress said, hey, this is a great buy. I bought it. And I bought it based on the 4-hour algorithm. And have I sold some of this? Yes, I sold some at 99 or 199 when it pulled back here. I sold it at 199 when it pulled back here. And now we're at $284. Did I make a mistake? Yeah. But I bought again at $250. Want to know why? 4-hour algorithm wins 50% of the time. It doesn't beat buy and hold, but I don't need 955%. I hold this as part of Alpha Picks, and I hold it as part of the top 2025 stocks. So I sold, when I sold at 199, it was on this upward trend where I bought at 77. I bought more at 198. I bought more at 253. Again, understand what you own. And if you had Seeking Alpha in January, you knew about this. If you had Alpha Picks, you knew about this. Because again, these were all buys and CLS. And finally, big guys are waking up to this one. Now, Salesforce. I saw Mark Benioff quote. He said, hey, they are the leading user of OpenAI tokens with their queries. I thought it was interesting. They shot up on their investor day. Okay, we can look at this one. I sold this one. I sold out of CRM and I bought IREN. And I'm glad I did because I'm up like, we went over that one, like 200 something percent. And since I sold this one at 250, where are you at? 245. So it wasn't a bad sell at all. Wasn't a bad sell. It's still down. Do you want to buy this one? Because right now, I would say that 200 level support is providing support. But your top in a great market. Again, software, are they selling more? Is it expensive? It is absolutely expensive. It is a hold from the quant. And when you look at this and you look at the valuation grade, yes, 6 months ago it was an F. Today it's a D. But 6 months ago, the growth was C+. Today it's a C. And the momentum is horrible. Horrible. Look at the momentum. 3 months, you're down 6%. 6 months, again, momentum is one of the biggest factors in the quant. Now, Wall Street has a $331 price target on this. Do I want it? Not with that chart. I'd rather take a risk in a market. Again, if you bought this one in November 2021, you're negative. You are negative. So understand what you own, understand what should be on your watch list and what shouldn't. Now, Steve Grasso has been more than right on a few. CCCX. If you want to be a multimillionaire, this is the chance. I have around 18,000 shares at $20. Everything in shares, no options. Come back in a few months. Should be trading around 60 to 70 or even 100 plus. With rate cuts, this is not going anywhere. CCCX. So you say, well, I don't know what CCX is. Neither did I. I had no idea. And you don't have Seeking Alpha, so you can't go over and see CCX. What should you do? Go and find a platform that does. And I'll tell you, Perplexity Finance, it has it. Can you explain what CCCX is and why people on the internet are bullish about the stocks? Explain to me like I'm a 16-year-old. This is a tool that you have access to. It's not like I'm exclusive. I don't even have Perplexity Pro. I just have the basic version. And it's a ticker symbol for Churchill Capital. It's a SPAC that stands for Special Purpose Acquisition Company. I hate SPACs. I hate SPACs. SPACs are not an investment. They're a trade. So once I heard that, I said, boom, it's a trade. Now, here's why investors are excited, because of quantum and computing. Massive stock moves. Okay, what are the main risks? Again, Perplexity asked me to ask it that question. Hype versus reality. Quantum tech is still unproven. SPAC structure rules. Risks. Extreme volatility. Dilution and lockup rules. No proven financial track records. Show a short checklist to evaluate CCX merger deal terms. Well, valuation and shares. Ownership split. It gives you everything, and you can continue the conversation. That's the key. So let's just go and look at this one. Remember, and I just know this from just past, SPACs start out at $10. And after $10, when they start hyping up, that's where you get this. Now, this does beat buy and hold. But again, this was before it was 10. It got you in at 10. I wouldn't have expected to get at 10. When you see this pullback right here, okay, and you see that 50, we don't have a 200-day yet, but you see the MACD. And you see the RSI pushing up. Now you're up 2% at 21. Where would I put? I would move this over to here where we saw it flatten out. And let's see. We do have some buys. I'm going to push this back here. We do have some buys up here. The large majority of buys are still at 13. Where would the support be? If you're buying at 21 today, I would get out at about 18. The perfect entry would be anywhere under 20. If you can get in under 20, I think that's okay if you want to make the move. Again, for me, this would absolutely be a trade. You can go over here to Seeking Alpha and we can put it in And we can look at this. It doesn't have any, there's one person that covers this on October 15th. You can see about this. Quantum computing, real revenue at a huge discount. Melissa Tucker, she investigates this one. She rates it as a buy. She's down 18% since she published this on October 15th. But again, this is a YOLO trade. This isn't one where you load in your entire portfolio. This is something where you take $500, $1,000, you load it in there. As you start to gain and you start to see the momentum move up, you start to add to the winner. And as you started to see it lose confirmation, you start to take those gains and you start to trim it a little bit. This is the way you trade. But again, not everybody's going to make money that way. You don't have the ability to watch charts. That's why I like TrendSpider, because I set alerts. Right behind my head are all my alerts. If you look on the screen right now, you'll see there's an alert section. I have 15 of 100 used. So I don't have 100 alerts. I have 13 of them. But again, that's a great way. You're just on Twitter, you see this stuff. Go and ask AI about this and ask them to explain it. Now, one thing we've been talking about here is gold. The compound episode this weekend, fantastic. This is a great clip, by the way. He thinks gold can hit 5,000 by year end. Their the mid-year projection was that gold gets to 5,000 at some point. They didn't expect it by year end. But what's bringing it down? Central banks are buying gold. Are they selling it? No, they're not buying bonds. They're buying gold instead. And he brings up China might have more gold than they're actually letting on. So again, I've got some gold stocks through Alpha Picks. But again, you could just buy GLD. Go and do some research. Find gold stocks. GLD is just the Spider Gold Trust. And the 4-hour algorithm, it doesn't work on this. It makes it 45%. Honestly, I'd be happy with 45%. I don't know this area. And the actual win percentage is 52%. So out of 27 positions, you win 14 times, you lose 13 times. Your average win, 4%. Is that enough for me? No. So I may do a leveraged ETF if I were to risk something on this. But again, you're going over this and you're using the tools that you have. We are in a bull market. Don't let anybody tell you that we're not. You're in a bull market until you're not. And this, just because the 4-hour algorithm gets you out doesn't mean you're not in a bull market. Pull up a weekly chart. We are still in an upward trend. Okay, this green line that you see right there, I anchored this right at the COVID low. And the key to any trend line is if you touch more than 3 points, it's validated. And the more points you touch, the more validation you have that it's an upward, that the trend is correct. And until you break that, and we did break this in April, that was the fear, but we regained it right back. And so you're in a bull. Don't let anyone tell you, oh my God, you've got to sell. Again, monthly chart, the month of October is still positive. Will we end the month positive? I don't know. Nobody knows. It seems extended. The RSI at 76. I'd love to see a pullback. But what you're seeing is these small pullbacks get bought up. And then there's some catalyst that pushes it higher. So you've got to be prepared. Now, one of the things that I do when you sign up for TrendSpider is I give you all of the watch lists that I have. I give you the 4-hour algorithm when you're on an annual plan. And then I give you some scanners that say, hey, find me stocks that are bullish in the 4-hour algorithm, XLY. Want to know why I own XLY? Very simple. XLY, when you go and you look at the holdings of XLY, 21% is Amazon, 20% is Tesla. I don't want to own Tesla outright. So this gets me 41% of this ETF are two stocks that I like. Amazon, which I own a bunch of, and Tesla, which I can take advantage of actually owning because I don't want to own the stock outright in a large sense. I own it in a small sense. And I trade it, by the way, on the 4-hour algorithm. The 4-hour algorithm beats buy and hold on Tesla, and it has you out. 90% gain. I have an alert on this one. Next time, I'm going to get in. I like this one. But again, XLY, which is part of the core portfolio, this one has you in at $233. Now, this one, if we go and look at market data here over here, and we pull year to date, XLY is right in the middle at 4% year to date. Your top, technology, 22%. Your second, utilities, 20%. Communication services, 18%. Industrials, 15%. Financials, 7%. Meanwhile, SPY, year to date, is up 13%. You would have just been better off buying, some of the top ones, XLI, XLC, XLU, XLK. If you had those, you're beating the SPY, the S&P 500. Any of the other ones, you're not beating SPY. The NASDAQ is up 18%. So the only ones that beat that are XLU and XLK. That's it. Know what you own. Another one that has a buy in the 4-hour algorithm, APP, App11. We can look at this one. Look at that weekly chart. Are you buying this one, the 4-hour algorithm? Well, the 4-hour algorithm actually wins 68% of the time. Okay, 19 positions, it wins 68% of the time. So are you buying down here on this dip at 598? Because right now in pre-market, you're at 591. So are you buying that one because it just got you out of a 40% gain? Could this one push higher? Absolutely. Could it push lower? Yes. The MACD under the oscillator, the RSI is at 44. Could it push higher? Yeah. Credo, #1 top stock. Again, I got this alert on Friday. I added more. 148. We're at 147. I don't know what I added for. I don't know the price, but it was around 148. Now this one looks extended. Again, on a weekly, you have to know what you own. So I will list all of these bullish entries on the 4-hour algorithm. There are some that have pulled back, like for instance, Comcast, CMCSA. I hate this company. I used to work for this company. I can't stand this company. But this one, you can see 4-hour algorithm loses you 38%. You lose 34% if you bought and held. Not a good one for me to buy. And is this one in a bullish trend? No. Look at on the weekly, the 200-day, the 50-day, it's all moving negative. Would I buy this one? No. Understand your technicals. So if you're going to enter based on a fundamental strategy, you can use technicals as a support. But if you're just going to enter on a technical basis, you have to know your technicals. If you don't know this stuff, you're basically just guessing. So understand, that's what I'm trying to teach is everybody understand your technicals, understand your fundamentals, and the tools that I have available to you between Premium, Alpha Picks, and TrendSpider. That is your perfect bundle. So if you have any questions, hit me up on Linktree. Even my email address is up there. I will talk to you Wednesday. See you. Bye.
Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears.